What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are talking about Game of Thrones star Kit Harington played Jon Snow on the series, checking himself into rehab. This story is getting a lot of traction today. I know a lot of people are taking the approach that this is a direct connection to the end of Game of Thrones, yada, yada, yada. I'm not really going to take that stance per se. It may obviously have played some part into it. I feel like these people have bigger things going on in their lives than their on-screen portrayal of a fictional character. Maybe not. Maybe this is all, maybe it has all to do with that. I'm not sure, but I'm just not going to assume all of that. Full disclosure, I really don't have any sympathy for anybody dealing with alcohol and drug addictions. I just don't. That's just not, I don't wish any bad things on them, but I also don't have sympathy for them, but that's just my personal stance on it. If you're choosing to approach this story and directly connect it to the end of Season 8 of Game of Thrones and how terrible it's been received, then that's your business. I'm not here to be the YouTube police. But let's read a little bit into the story, and then we'll talk about it. So Kit Harington checked into luxury rehab for stress and alcohol. Game of Thrones star Kit Harington secretly checked into luxury rehab for stress and alcohol use ahead of the show's ending, which really hit him hard. Multiple sources have exclusively confirmed to Page 6. Exhausted, Harington, 32, played Jon Snow on the hit HBO series for 8 years, has been at luxury Connecticut retreat Priv Swiss for nearly a month, arriving weeks before the show's finale on May 19th. Page 6 has learned. The British actor has been undergoing psychological coaching, practicing mindful meditation and cognitive behavior therapy to combat stress, to deal with the negative emotions at the facility, which costs over $120,000 a month. His wife, Rose Leslie, so she's extremely supportive. A friend told Page 6 of Harington, the end of Game of Thrones really hit Kit hard. He realized this is it. This is the end. It was something they had all worked on so hard for so many years. He had a moment of what's next. He's in the clinic predominantly for stress and exhaustion and also alcohol. His wife, Rose, has been extremely supportive. Everyone close to him really wanted him to get some rest, yada, yada, yada. A rep told us that Kit has decided to utilize this break in his schedule as an opportunity to spend some time at the wellness retreat to work on some personal issues. After 8 seasons following the characters Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen on the separate journeys, they finally, as a couple, in the final episode of Game of Thrones, fans saw Jon stab Dany, the woman he loves, the death in the heart to save the realm. The episode broke TV records with 19.3 million viewers tuning in. Yada, yada, yada. So, I don't think there's really any... I have personally seen him out in the community many times. I think it's wonderful that he's taking the time to take care of himself. More people should. He recently told Variety his lowest and darkest point came as he became the focus of the show as Jon was killed and then came back to life. It wasn't a very good time in my life, he said. I felt I had to feel that I was the most fortunate person in the world when actually I felt very vulnerable. I had a shaky time in my life around there, like I think a lot of people do in their 20s. My darkest period came when the show seemed to become so much about Jon when he died and came back, he explained. I really didn't like the focus of the whole show coming onto Jon. When you become the cliffhanger on a TV show probably in the height of its power, the focus is is very effing terrifying. That was the time when I started therapy and started talking to people. I had felt very unsafe. I wasn't talking to anyone. My final day of the shooting, I felt fine. Then I went to do my last shots and started hyperventilating a bit. Then they called wrap and I just effing broke down. It was the onslaught of relief and grief about not being able to do this again. He added, but the weirdest bit was when we came off set and they started taking costumes off and it felt like being skinned. It felt like they were unceremoniously for the last time ripping off this character. So, again, I know that the low-hanging fruit here is people are going to say that Game of Thrones Season 8 was so bad that it drove Kit Harington to rehab. I'm not taking that stance at all. My stance on this is that dude seems like a genuinely decent guy that just is very appreciative for where he's at and what he's been through, but also a little freaked out by being a big star on the biggest show on television. And now that it's all gone, he seems to be very vulnerable and insecure. And that is a very normal response for most people. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge that they have insecurities. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge that they second guess themselves. That's something that I talk about all the time. A lot of people think I am super confident and super secure. This could be further from the truth. I'm a very insecure person. Every time I turn the camera on, I think about like, oh, is this going to be the last time people listen to me? Is my YouTube channel going to be done tomorrow? It's just part of it, man. Anybody that claims that they have no insecurities are liars, because we all have insecurities. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care. Everybody has some level of insecurity in their life, but it depends on how big the insecurity is. When you are Kit Harington and you're Jon Snow and you're on the biggest show of all time, that can add to your insecurities times maximize your insecurities by a ridiculous number, and that's what he's dealing with, and it's hit him very hard. So I don't believe that this has anything to do with the fallout of the criticism of the show. I really don't. Now, I don't know that for sure. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just an asshole on YouTuber. I'm an asshole on YouTube giving my opinion. So I don't know exactly what has happened, but I'm just not going to assume that he's caught up in the internet nonsense that all of us are, and he's just like, oh, I've got to go to rehab because the ending was so bad. I think this is bigger than that, a lot bigger than that. But that's just my take on it. I'm sure there's other people out there that are more qualified to talk about this, that have a better perspective and a better opinion, and that's totally fine. If you are taking the stance that this is straight up like he's just drinking himself into rehab because of the ending, that's your prerogative, and you have every right to do that. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and I wish Kit Harington all the best, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.